There are moments in time when heaven seems to draw closer to the earth, when the air feels charged with divine purpose, and the soul senses something stirring deep within. October 27th is one of those sacred intersections. It is not just another date on the calendar or a full moon lighting the night sky. It is a spiritual turning point. It is a call to awaken, to remember who you are, and to step into what you were destined to become. For many, the moon has always been a symbol of cycles, of endings and beginnings, of reflection and renewal. But this full moon carries something deeper. It comes with a whisper from the heavens, a divine signal saying, "It's time. Time to rise. Time to release the weight of what no longer serves you. Time to embrace the light that's been waiting to break through the shadows of doubt and delay." You are not here by accident. You are not lost in the chaos of this world. You are chosen, handpicked by the Creator for such a time as this. Every battle you've fought, every tear you've shed, every delay that felt like denial, all of it has been shaping you for this moment. The fire you've walked through wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to refine you. And now, as this full moon rises, so do you. The universe is aligning, not against you, but for you. What felt closed will begin to open. What felt heavy will begin to lift. October 27th is not just a date, it's a door to new dimensions of faith, favor, and fulfillment. But only those who recognize it will walk through it. Only those who say yes to the divine stirring within them will experience what God is unfolding. This is a season of spiritual awakening, where clarity replaces confusion, purpose replaces hesitation, and destiny replaces doubt. So lift your eyes, feel the pull of heaven calling your name, step out of fear and into faith. The world may not see it yet, but something inside you knows this is your moment. October 27th isn't about the moon alone. It's about the message behind it, the sign in the sky declaring that change is here. You are being repositioned, redefined, and realigned. You are the chosen one, and this is your spiritual turning point. Heaven has set the stage. Now it's time for you to shine. Divine alignment is not a random occurrence. It is the orchestration of heaven meeting earth at a precise moment when destiny is ready to unfold. October 27th carries such a sacred rhythm, a vibration that speaks to the soul and stirs the spirit. This date, marked by the fullness of the moon, is not simply a celestial event. It is a divine appointment, a signal that heaven's clock has struck a moment of transition. When God aligns time and space, nothing remains the same. The atmosphere changes, the spiritual frequency shifts, and those who are attuned can feel the call deep within, an urging to move, to rise, to align with what heaven is releasing. Many walk through life unaware of these alignments, mistaking divine moments for coincidence. But those who are spiritually awake understand that alignment is never accidental. It is the result of divine timing, of preparation meeting purpose. In divine alignment, everything that once seemed delayed begins to move. Doors that were shut suddenly swing open, not because of effort, but because of timing. There is a sacred pattern in the heavens, and October 27th represents a moment where that pattern becomes visible to the spirit. The full moon shines not merely to illuminate the sky, but to reveal the hidden truths within. It reminds us that light has always been there, even when clouds of confusion tried to hide it. This alignment is not about external signs alone. It is an internal awakening. Heaven aligns with those whose hearts are ready to surrender, whose spirits are willing to say yes to the unknown. The universe bends toward obedience, and those who walk in step with divine timing find themselves in the flow of miraculous change. When heaven aligns with earth, the natural laws yield to supernatural purpose. The waiting, the weeping, the wondering, all of it begins to make sense in this light. What once felt like stillness was actually divine strategy, preparing the soul to step into this ordained moment. Divine alignment doesn't just move circumstances, it moves people. It shifts perspectives, heals wounds, and reorders priorities. It brings divine connections, opportunities, and revelations that could never have been forced by human will. On October 27th, the heavens declare alignment, a convergence of spiritual energies guiding the chosen ones into their next season. This alignment is not limited to those who watch the sky, but to those who listen with their hearts. It is the Creator's reminder that timing is everything. No delay was wasted. No season was meaningless. Every disappointment carried a hidden appointment with destiny. The spiritual turning point begins when one realizes that divine alignment is not coming, it is here. The rhythm of heaven is playing, the light of revelation is shining, and those who recognize it will walk through the door it opens. October 27th is more than a date. It is the meeting point between heaven's intention and human readiness, where divine alignment manifests and the chosen one awakens. The full moon has always been a mirror of the soul, reflecting not just the light of the sun, but the hidden chambers of our own inner world. It represents the completion of cycles, the fulfillment of what began in silence, and the illumination of what once was concealed. On October 27th, this full moon carries a deeper spiritual resonance, calling forth a collective awakening. It is a celestial reminder that endings are not losses, they are transitions. Just as the moon waxes and wanes, so too do our seasons of growth, loss, and rebirth. The light that fills the night sky on this date is symbolic of divine revelation. It exposes what we must release and reveals what we must embrace. It invites us to stop running from our reflection and instead see ourselves through the lens of divine truth. This full moon speaks to the spirit in whispers, not noise. It does not demand attention but draws it gently, asking us to slow down, to breathe, and to listen. It is the time when the veils between heaven and earth feel thinner, when intuition heightens, and when divine messages reach those who are still enough to receive them. Spiritual awakening is not a sudden burst of light. It is a gradual unfolding, a process of remembering who we truly are. The moon, in all its fullness, reflects our own completeness in the eyes of God. Even when we feel broken, even when we stand in our darkest nights, there is still light within us waiting to be seen. October 27th marks a moment where that light intensifies, when what was once hidden in shadow comes into clear view. To awaken under this full moon is to release the illusions that keep us bound. It is to let go of what the soul has outgrown and to make space for the new energies of purpose and clarity. The moon's glow reminds us that we are part of a larger design, that nothing in creation is accidental. The same hand that commands the tides is the hand that guides our lives. When we align ourselves with this truth, awakening becomes natural. The confusion dissolves, the fear softens, and a deep knowing rises within. We begin to see that every phase of our journey, the waxing and waning of our hope, our faith, and our courage, has been preparing us for the fullness of this moment. The illumination of this full moon is not only celestial, but deeply personal. It lights up the hidden desires of the heart, the forgotten dreams, and the suppressed callings that have been waiting for permission to surface. October 27th is more than a night of brightness. It is a spiritual invitation to awaken to the truth that light is not something we chase, it is something we become. The moon simply reflects what the Creator has already placed within us, and when we awaken to that reality, the night no longer feels dark, it feels divine. Being the chosen one is not about superiority or status, it is about divine responsibility. It means that out of billions of souls, God has entrusted you with a purpose that carries weight, meaning, and eternal impact. To be chosen is to be set apart, not for comfort, but for calling. It is to be awakened to the realization that your existence is not random, it is intentional. Every event in your life, every person you have met, and every battle you have fought has been woven into the fabric of your destiny. The label Chosen One is not an ego crown, it is a mantle of service, faith, and surrender. It is the divine mark that separates those who merely exist from those who live with divine awareness. The chosen often walk lonely paths because their direction is not meant to be understood by everyone. God hides them in obscurity to prepare them in silence. While others may seem to advance faster, the chosen are being shaped in the unseen, trained in faith, refined in trials, and purified in waiting. Every delay becomes a divine classroom, every disappointment a sacred lesson. The chosen one learns to hear God's voice in stillness, to find peace in uncertainty, and to trust timing even when everything feels delayed. October 27th, as a spiritual turning point, becomes a moment of recognition, the unveiling of identity. It is when the chosen stop questioning their worth and start walking in their anointing. The identity of the chosen cannot be shaken by external opinion because it is rooted in divine affirmation. Before the world knew your name, heaven already declared your assignment. To be chosen means to be equipped, not always with material strength, but with spiritual resilience. It means that the hand of God rests upon your life, guiding, protecting, and aligning you even when the path feels unclear. This calling often comes with pressure, misunderstanding, and spiritual warfare because the enemy always attacks what carries purpose. Yet the chosen are sustained by grace, not by their own strength. They rise after every fall, not because they are flawless, but because their foundation is divine. Being chosen also means being a vessel through which light flows into the world. You become an instrument of transformation, hope, and healing. You carry an energy that shifts atmospheres and a faith that moves mountains. The chosen one is not defined by titles or applause, but by obedience, the willingness to say yes even when the path is hard. On October 27th, as heaven declares alignment, the chosen are called to step fully into their identity. They are no longer to shrink in fear or question their place. The mark of the chosen shines through their endurance, their compassion, and their unwavering belief in divine purpose. They are the carriers of destiny, the reflections of God's intention on earth, and this full moon is their signal it is time to rise. Transformation through trials is one of the most profound truths of spiritual growth. Every hardship, every season of pain, every unanswered prayer carries a hidden purpose that refines the soul. The chosen ones are not exempt from suffering. In fact, their paths are often marked by greater challenges because their destiny requires deeper strength. The refining fire of adversity does not come to destroy them, but to purify what cannot enter the next season. When God allows trials, it is never punishment, it is preparation. Just as gold is tested in fire to reveal its purity, the human spirit is tested through struggle to reveal its strength and faith. October 27th, as a spiritual turning point, signifies that the trials of the past are not wasted. They are the very foundation upon which divine transformation is built. There are moments in life when pain feels endless, when the weight of delay, rejection, or confusion becomes almost unbearable. But in the unseen realm, something sacred is happening. The spirit is being strengthened. The faith that once wavered begins to root deeper. The tears that once fell in sorrow begin to water the soil of future blessings. Transformation rarely happens in comfort. It takes place in pressure. It is in the dark cocoon of difficulty that the butterfly's wings form. Likewise, the chosen one learns that pain is not the enemy. It is the midwife of purpose. Every battle fought builds resilience. Every heartbreak deepens empathy, and every closed door redirects toward divine alignment. Those who are chosen understand that God never wastes pain. Every setback is a setup for something greater. Every storm carries a hidden seed of renewal. When you walk through the fire, you begin to realize that you are not the same person who entered it. Something shifts within, your perspective widens, your compassion deepens, and your confidence in divine timing grows stronger. The trials that once made you question God become the evidence of His hand guiding you all along. Through each struggle, you learn to let go of what is not meant for you and embrace the divine design that unfolds through surrender. October 27th marks not only the culmination of cycles, but also the recognition of transformation through trials. It is a moment to look back and see how far you have come, to realize that the strength within you was forged in the very fires that once threatened to break you. The moon shines as a reminder that no night lasts forever, and that every shadow eventually gives way to light. The chosen ones stand under its glow, not as victims of life's challenges, but as victors refined by them. They emerge wiser, bolder, and more aligned with their divine assignment. What once hurt now heals, what once broke now builds, and what once was a burden now becomes a testimony. Transformation through trials is not just survival. It is the awakening of divine power within, preparing the chosen one to rise into the fullness of purpose. Faith over fear is the defining attitude of a soul stepping into divine transformation. When a spiritual turning point arrives, fear will always try to whisper louder than faith. It will remind you of what you lack, what could go wrong, and what you are not ready for. But faith speaks a higher language. It declares that even in uncertainty, God is working. October 27th symbolizes a moment when heaven invites the chosen ones to rise above fear and walk boldly into what has been prepared for them. Fear keeps us tied to what is familiar, even when it no longer fits our purpose. Faith, however, stretches us into the unknown, urging us to trust the unseen. It is easy to believe when the path is clear, but true faith is forged in the fog, where only obedience lights the way. Every spiritual elevation begins with a decision to choose faith over fear. This choice is not made once. It must be renewed daily. Fear thrives in hesitation while faith thrives in action. Fear asks for guarantees. Faith moves without them. The chosen ones are called to trust that when God says it is time to move, every provision, protection, and promise will meet them along the way. The full moon on October 27th represents illumination, not only of the world around us, but of the courage within us. It shines on the hidden places where fear has lived and calls those areas into the light. It is the moment to confront the voice that says, "You can't," and answer with divine certainty, with God, "I can." Faith is the power that unlocks doors fear has kept shut. When fear says the timing is wrong, faith declares that divine timing is perfect. When fear focuses on limitation, faith sees opportunity. The chosen ones must remember that fear is not the absence of courage, it is the invitation to use it. Courage is not the lack of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. God never promised a path without challenges. He promised His presence through every one of them. When faith becomes the lens through which we see life, every obstacle turns into a stepping stone, every valley into preparation for the mountain top. October 27th calls for a spiritual awakening where faith takes the lead. It is the divine reminder that fear may visit, but it cannot stay. The moonlight on this night is symbolic of guidance. Even when the sun is gone, there is still light enough to walk. That is the nature of faith. It does not eliminate darkness, but shines within it. Those who embrace this truth will step boldly into their destiny, knowing that they are not walking alone. Fear loses its power when faith becomes active, and faith becomes unstoppable when it trusts the one who called. This is the essence of the spiritual turning point, to release the grip of fear and step fully into the divine rhythm of faith. Stepping into destiny is not a single act but a sacred process, one that requires courage, surrender, and awareness of divine timing. The moment of revelation has arrived. October 27th stands as a spiritual signal that the season of hesitation is over. The light of the full moon reflects the light of purpose that has always been within, calling the chosen ones to rise and take their rightful place. To step into destiny is to walk in alignment with what was written before time began. It means letting go of doubt and embracing the truth that everything that has happened, every trial, delay, and detour was necessary preparation for this moment. Destiny does not unfold in chaos. It unfolds in divine order. What once seemed like loss now reveals itself as training, and what once felt like waiting now shows itself as divine protection. Stepping into destiny demands release, release of fear, release of control, release of the old versions of ourselves that cannot survive in new seasons. Many stand at the edge of breakthrough, but hold on to what is familiar, unaware that comfort can be the greatest enemy of calling. The chosen ones must understand that destiny is not waiting on God, it is waiting on their yes. Every act of faith opens the next door. Every declaration of belief strengthens the path ahead. The moonlight of October 27th is symbolic of clarity. It exposes the path that hesitation once concealed. It is as though heaven itself shines a spotlight on purpose, whispering, "Now is your time." Destiny requires action, but that action must be rooted in trust. There is no need to strive or chase. What belongs to you by divine decree will meet you when you move in faith. The chosen ones do not have to force outcomes, they align with them. This alignment happens through prayer, obedience, and a heart willing to be led. When the soul says yes to purpose, everything begins to respond. People, opportunities, timing, even circumstances rearrange to fulfill the divine plan. Stepping into destiny is not about finding the path. It is about realizing that you are the path, the living vessel through which heaven's will flows into the world. The spiritual turning point marked by this date is an awakening to purpose. The chosen ones will feel the stirring within them to act, to speak, to create, to serve in ways that reflect divine intention. Their light will no longer be dimmed by fear or doubt, for destiny shines brightest when the soul stands fully in truth. The full moon signifies completion, and this moment represents the completion of preparation. The season of becoming has ended. The season of being has begun. The chosen ones now step forward not as seekers of purpose, but as carriers of it, walking in the glow of divine fulfillment, ready to live as reflections of heaven's design on earth.